All right. Hello. It is I, RZ. Welcome to the Sonic Forces pre-launch discussion stream. Initially, I was going to have planned to have this one separate stream and then do the actual Sonic Forces game in a separate stream as well. So, if you want to skip past the discussions and post-stream, you can go ahead and do that. Unfortunately, because the Steam version of Forces comes out tomorrow at around noon, we're not going to be waiting here all day, obviously. Console versions, I believe, already have. They're an hour away from launch, I believe, on the consoles. While us PC users have to wait a bit. So in the meantime, I figured I would take this time to just sit down and discuss Sonic Forces. What do you guys think of the game? All that sort of stuff. So to start off, I do want to say that the Sonic Forces live stream on my end will commence at around 1 p.m. tomorrow on Twitch, not on YouTube. I figured I would do this one on YouTube because it's a discussion stream. It's not all that important. It's more so of a way to get you guys kind of like prepped up for the stream tomorrow. So we're just probably going to arrive in the morning. All right, that's cool. Javik, to answer your question, more than likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through episode Shadow first, since that's the chronological order of things, and then afterwards play through the regular campaign. So here's a question to ask you guys first, just kind of kick off the conversation with this discussion. What species will you guys be picking for your avatar for your first run? Oh, play it after the main game? Alright then. Guess I think it's best that we play it after the main game then. That's cool. But yeah, what species will you guys be picking for your custom character? Me personally, I will be choosing the default Wolf OC first to kind of fit in with the way the game has been advertised so far, because there's been a lot of attention with that Red Wolf, and I kind of want to make him part of the canon story. Maybe afterwards on my second run I'll do something different. Maybe I'll do something else with the custom character, because there is a green scarf in the character editor, and I want to kind of give a shot to do something similar to RZ, but yeah, my first playthrough will be with the default Wolf character. Second one will be with my own avatar, of course. Another topic of discussion that I guess we could bring up is one of the latest things that came up actually with the latest Polygon review from Forces. It gave it, I believe it was a 5 out of 10. Personally, I don't really agree with that score, even because, I'm pro Forces, obviously. But, Polygon from the start has never really been much of a, trusted source for me for information or reviews, really. Because, They gave Mania a 7 out of 10, whereas other review sites were giving Mania, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. But Polygon gave it a 7 out of 10. Now, personally, I do have my own issues with Mania, but it's nothing, catastrophic, and it's nothing bad or anything like that. It's just my own personal gripes with Mania. But honestly, regarding reviews, if you guys are like seriously gonna base your opinion on Forces on the reviews that the public puts up, don't do that. If you're gonna give Forces a try, go in blind. If you still haven't leaked yourself any of the spoilers that have been floating around YouTube and whatnot, If you've been avoiding all of that, go into Forces blind. Maybe if you've already seen the leaks, give it a shot yourself. See what you think. Don't take other people's opinions for it, because Forces is without a doubt one of the most polarizing Sonic games we've had to date. If I'm not mistaken, like I don't really think we've ever really had a game as divisive on the fan base as Forces ever has been. Because with Sonic Boom, you know, Rise of Lyric, and, well, I guess Sonic Boom in general, you know, you had very little amount of actual Boom supporters, while the Boom haters were very up there. They were very, you know, it was a whole lot of them. But with Forces, it's like you got an equal amount of hate, and you have an equal amount of love and, you know, just general hype for the game. And oh my god, this past year, you know, ever since Forces got announced at the party, and then when they got showed off at South by Southwest this year, essentially, you know, there were some people that were on the fence about it. There were some people that absolutely love it. There were some people that didn't really like it. And it was this massive back and forth with people who, you know, people who don't like it get told off by the people who do like it. People who do like it get told off by the people who don't like it. It was just constant back and forth over and over on various social media sites, especially on Twitter I've seen. But you know, I'm personally excited for Forces. I have a feeling that it's going to be a good game, and I've already kind of I've already kind of, you know, spoiled myself on a lot of the cutscenes and a lot of the stages. Most of what I haven't seen at this point is the stuff that goes on in the world map and Episode Shadow. I haven't seen any of that, and honestly, watching those leaks got me more excited for the game than I already was before. So that's a good thing. I consider it, really. And Casper, to answer your question, you won't know unless you try. I suggest giving the game a shot, but you never know. You know, people have different tastes. I hope you enjoy Forces. There are a lot of elements in Forces that I really do like, but there are also some that I'm kind of skeptical about. The level design in a majority of the levels being one of them. Not so much the way the levels are designed, but so much the level length. I feel like they made them a bit too short, but at the same time, you know, there are some levels in Forces, without spoiling anything, obviously, that have multiple pathways. So the argument that people have been making, saying, "Oh, well, Forces is pretty damn linear." No, it's really not. It's just a couple stages, honestly, that are very straightforward or somewhat automated. But a lot of the levels in Forces have tons of multiple pathways and lots of stuff to see and explore, and, you know, lots of collectibles and stuff like that. Multi-tails. Actually, they actually did fix the ranking system from Generations. From the looks of it, it's a lot more difficult to get an S rank. It's not just don't die, unlike in Generations. So there's that, and Son Goku 2017, to answer your question, no, I will be playing on PC. Computer, basically. Tomorrow the game launches on Steam at about 12 p.m. I'll be starting the stream at about 1 p.m. Oh, multi-tails, same here, actually. Taking the whole day off tomorrow to play Forces. I don't really plan to finish it tomorrow, because that's something that I dislike about video games nowadays. That, you know, back then, video games used to be things that you would complete in maybe a day, a week, not a day, in maybe a week or two. Nowadays, I feel that video games are a bit too short. You know, 16-hour campaigns are fine. From what I'm hearing, Forces story length, the overall campaign length for Forces is around 4 to 5 hours. And that's excluding all the additional stuff, and if you're going for all the red star rings and all the little collectibles that are in each level. So I would say longer than Generations, definitely. A bit longer than Lost World. Maybe, I'm not sure. I honestly haven't beaten Lost World yet. Yeah, well, that's an RPG multi. You know, those usually drag on for hours. Christ. I should have Jeopardy music playing. No, but tell you what, I will have some more Forces music playing. Give me just a moment. Let me see. Because I don't have much Forces music on my computer at the moment, so I only have really about 3 or 4 tracks from the game. Here's Sunset Heights. There we go. I'll have that playing while talking. Honestly, the thing I'm excited about most with Forces is the way it's presenting its story. You know, when they said back, way back in the 25th anniversary party, when Takashi Iizuka and Aaron Webber came up on stage and presented Forces to us, they said it was going to be a new experience unlike anything ever seen before in the Sonic franchise, and honestly, from what I've seen, they weren't kidding. Forces handles its story in a very serious manner. There's very little joking around, and if there is, it's more so, it's not cheesy jokes like it was in Colors and in Lost World and, you know, all that. It's not, you know, baldy nose hair. It's not that. It's more so, you know, Sonic doing his thing by poking fun of enemies and stuff like that. Eggman is Eggman, you know, but he's a lot more serious in this one. Actually pretty damn bent on, you know, taking, like, you know, his takeover of the world and whatnot. In general, from what I've seen of Force's story, it's very interesting. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it, because honestly, it's a take on Sonic that we haven't really seen before in the games. The games have always had this sort of cap on what they can do and what they can't do. It's always seemed to me that, you know, they always kind of tried to direct themselves as kid-friendly. Sonic Forces doesn't do that. Forces essentially there's death in Forces. Like, Infinite kills a few folks here and there on screen, in Forces, and off screen too, but I won't get into that. In general, you know, I'm excited for Forces, you know. But if I can ask you guys, and this is kind of like to start a back and forth discussion with you dudes, what is the thing you're least looking forward to in Forces, if any? Because I'm curious. The least thing I'm personally looking forward to in Forces is probably gonna be the admittedly, classic Sonic. Even though from what I played of the Japanese demo on the Switch, classic Sonic seems to play very similarly to the way he does in in Mania. Not one-to-one close, but more so like a recreation of the way he used to play in some of the older games. It's not exact, but it's close enough, I suppose. Tails the Memed Fox, you say bad humor. Forces doesn't really have a whole lot of that. Like, barring the beginning tutorial stage with Green Hill, because there is a point where Sonic goes, heh, this is more like Sand Hill now. But aside from that, afterwards, Sonic doesn't really crack a whole lot of jokes. It's more so serious from there on out. Multi, you say the custom character stages? How come? Oh shit, I just noticed I still had the stream will commence shortly thing there, my bad. Ugh. Unnecessary negativity for me, that's what I'm not wanting. I don't blame you, to be honest. Forces has been getting quite a lot of negative attention from the media, from the press. You know, there's been a lot of negative opinions on Forces, and a lot of it's unwarranted most of the time. Thankfully, there's been like a surge of positivity ever since the leak started happening, because people could actually watch it themselves and, you know, actually see if it's good or not. And while, you know, people's opinions are subjective, you know, there's some people that are saying, oh, well, Forces is still shit. It's like, well, okay, that's your opinion then, you know, but don't try and shove it down other people's throats, because that's just kind of wrong. It looks like a watered-down Ratchet and Clank arsenal. I've never played any of the Ratchet and Clank games, so I wouldn't be able to compare it like that. Though personally, I kind of like it. Like, it's definitely something different, because the custom hero, unless paired up with Sonic, doesn't go as fast as Sonic, but more so at a relative pace. You know, he does speed up, but he's never as fast as Sonic. Which, you know what? I will give them a pass on that in that case. Even though I want to play this game, I have a personal opinion that for the next 3D Sonic game, they have to change the format and take full advantage of the new gen consoles. Javik 12, I would agree, but at the same time, they just built the new Hedgehog engine. If I'm not mistaken, an interview said something along the lines of, essentially, they spent most of their time with Forces building the Hedgehog 2 engine. So if they were to switch to a new gameplay system, I don't see them doing so. Instead, what I see them doing is taking the criticism that people are giving them, you know, improve the physics, less linearity and stuff like that, get some more level designers on the team, and whatnot. I can see them doing the same thing with the gameplay styles, but improving the way it plays. Because I'm not going to lie, from what I played of the Forces demo, and mind you, this was on Switch, and my hands haven't exactly, you know, accustomed properly to the Switch's little Joy-Cons, so maybe it might have been that, but I felt like modern Sonic was just a bit too stiff. Just a bit. You know, he's definitely a lot tighter to control than he was in Generations, which honestly is a godsend, because I felt like Sonic was simply too slippery, and he accelerated too quickly from a walking standpoint. When you're just slightly holding up the up stick, right? Whereas in Forces, from what I played of the demo, he controls very tightly. It feels like you're actually moving Sonic around. The problem is, when you start hitting full speed, Sonic kinda locks himself in the center, and the only way you can move left or right, I believe, I haven't tried this yet, but the only way you can move left or right is by sidestepping. If you hit full blast. And honestly, that's not much of an issue, but it does kind of feel weird when in Generations you had full control of your the character, right? I just hope there's not a whole lot of non-boost platforming. From what I saw, it's a mix of how Colors handled things, with like the 2D sections with the double jump and whatnot. The air boost, actually, in Forces for modern Sonic is very different than any other air boost we've ever seen before. The air boost that they give us in Forces is like an arc, and you can use that to get to higher places. It's actually pretty useful. Tell you what, give me just a moment. I will, cause Chunen wheels. Oh, see, though, that was back in Unleashed when they were first getting used to the whole Hedgehog engine thing. And back then, oh, Sonic used to control real fucking loose, and I was not a fan of that. Like, trying to control Sonic slowly at a walking pace felt like a nightmare in Unleashed, because his acceleration was too fast. You know, you tap the stick slightly and he like runs. Like, I was not a fan of that in Unleashed. Let's see here. We have been live for 23 minutes. We're gonna go for 30 more and then we'll end off the stream. How does that sound? Apparently there are already videos of the ending to this game. How? Okay, let me get into that. Tails, Fox. The game leaked early. Apparently what happened is Nintendo, this was initially Nintendo, they sent, like, pre-order copies to small little stores, not big stores like GameStop, Walmart, and stuff like that. It was like local stores that got the copies first. They thought, no, we got these copies, I guess we should sell them now. They didn't know, essentially, that the game wasn't supposed to be sold yet. So because of that, people started getting early copies of the Switch version, and then the PS4 version, and I don't think we've seen an Xbox version come out yet, like, leaked yet. I don't think we've seen that. And it's a shame, too, because it's like, you know, while initially I was very much against, you know, leaking stuff, at the same time, you know, what game wasn't leaked this year? You know, at the same time, it's like, the leaks definitely helped the game. Because, I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like Sonic Team of, like, Sega of America was doing a very good job in, you know, promoting this game up until the tail end of it. You know, for the longest time we were getting just Mania stuff after Mania came out, and that's fine and all, Mania's great, I guess, but, you know, Forces, come on guys, you know? The marketing team kind of sucks. It's kind of weird, yeah. Also, what the heck? Yeah, show that. Call of Duty World War II? Call of Duty... Oh yeah, that game hasn't leaked out yet. In general, though, you know, I really do feel the leaks have helped the game. So, that's always a good thing, because more people get to play it. Which, in the thing of more people, here's something. Do you guys think that it'll just be Sonic fans who buy Forces? Or do you think this game will attract the general audience? Like, you know, kids, people that aren't Sonic fans, people that haven't played a Sonic game in a long time, you know? Just the general casual audience out there. Do you think maybe they might give Sonic Forces a shot? Few but not much, 50-50. General gamers. Yeah, I could see that. Honestly, for the custom hero alone, I see a lot of kids, you know, seeing this game, and it's like, wow, I can make my own character and play with Sonic. You know, I think that would, I think kids will dig Sonic Forces. Though Forces has a hell of a dark story in comparison to every other Sonic game that's ever come out. So it's like, you know. Not to mention that the game is only $40, you know, not a whole lot of AAA titles are just $40 from the bat. Except for Generations, actually. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe that, Generations was $30 from the start. I don't think it ever hit 60. Maybe for some people, but I noticed that with the way the Switch is going, most of the people have their Sonic games on Nintendo consoles. Very true. Very true. You know, but that's mostly because for the past couple years, Sonic has been relegated to just Nintendo products. Because Sega had a contract with Nintendo saying that they could produce 3 Nintendo exclusive Sonic games. Those 3 games were Lost World, Rise of Lyric, and it was Lost World, Rise of Lyric, and Shattered Crystal, I believe. Fire and Ice was on the 3DS by choice, I believe. No, Smash doesn't count. Smash doesn't count. This is like Sonic only games. in general, though, I'm very much, you know, hyped for Forces. In fact, I'm actually going to see how much time is left on that counter. Because we have, like, a live counter going off for Forces right now. Like, if you check it, it'll tell you how much time is left until the game comes out on PC. And I believe it is... unlocks in approximately 12 hours. So that is literally at 12 p.m. Okay. That's what I'm seeing from Steam discussions. There are not many fans that are chatting in there, and more so just gamers who are very pro for the game. You know what they are getting in? You know what they're getting into, but it's the change of the series that interests them. Honestly, I can agree with that. I can agree with that sort of notion because it makes sense, you know? Oh, they already have the... I think they already have the launch trailer up on the Steam page. I'm not hyped per se, but I think I'll enjoy playing it. Oh no, this is not the launch trailer. This is the E3 trailer that they showed off, revealing all the villains. Honestly though, this is something like in a general topic of discussion kind of way. I do like what they're doing with the story of Forces. You know, this is something that we haven't really seen before with the Sonic games, you know? Oh, that's weird. They uploaded the same trailer twice. Okay. Did you see Sonic 06 for some people I'm making with you? I'm not interested, honestly. I've seen the Sonic 06 thing you're talking about, Javik. I'm just not interested, really. Give me just a moment, actually. I'm gonna put something on the screen. Let's see. Steam gamers seem to know what Forces is and know it's not perfect, but that doesn't really mean much for them. It's a change of pace and that's why they enjoy it from it. Oh, Multi, that's kind of what makes it more intimidating, really. The fact that Eggman is doing all this shit, and his name is as robust as Eggman, you know? That's kind of the joke. Alright, let me see if I can find something real quick, because there is one thing I want to put up, kind of just so it's not, you know, dead air on the screen there. Alright, so give me just a moment, let me see what I can find. Oh, that's nice. The PS4 has a dynamic Sonic Forces theme. That's cool. Oh, yeah, definitely. It definitely feels that way. That's coming with mine. Right, you're getting the PS4 version. People can scam you for clickbait games. Steam 2017. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but whatever at this point. Alright, give me just a moment. I am going to save this video. Physical copies are always nice. Honestly, I miss the days where they used to sell AAA PC titles on physical copies. Like, you know, they still do it sometimes, but it's not as often as it used to be. And I kind of miss that, because I miss, you know, going to the store and seeing, let's give an example, Hitman, or something like that. on the shelf, and it's like that big old PC logo, and it's like, ooh, I want to buy that because I can run it on my computer. Like, those days were just really good, honestly. Remember when game cases looked cool and not bland? Yep, I remember that. Alright, give me just a moment. YouTube to MP4. There we go. PS1. Oh, PS1 game cases were the best, honestly. Hey, Mystical Greninja, how you doing? Alright, I'm gonna be putting some more music here in just a moment. More than likely, it's probably gonna be Infinite's boss battle theme, because I really do like that. Infinite's boss battle theme is just so good. Let me see, videos being processed. Forces launch trailer download. Right, there we go. I will have this looping in the background. Give me just a moment. Looks a bit like a letdown. I don't blame you, to be honest. I've seen the boss fight with Infinite. And the boss fight itself is alright, but I do see where you're coming from, though. Where is it? Media source. There we go. Add existing media source. Loop. I'm just gonna have this on loop, and I'm gonna mute it so you know it doesn't do any sort of sound. There we go. All right. Media source mute. Gonna have this. Just gonna have that there. I'm gonna. There we go. Oh, okay. Give me just a moment, Zach. Oh. Honestly speaking, though, like, just Forces in general, honestly, is just looking to be a really good game, and there's going to be a follow-up eventually. There's got to be, like, some sort of game after this, honestly. Fallout 5 Sonic confirmed. Alright, give me just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and mute the music here for just a second. Was it liked videos I had that in? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. I think the one Pretend Lost World ever happened. You think so? I don't think so. Because I mean, they're taking Zavik back. They're having Zavik back in. I mean, Hello, Ron Gamer. I'm the same. Any other concerns you guys may have with Sonic Forces? Like, just, like, seriously curious. Like, anything else that you think that the game might suffer from that's not dealing with, like, the outside reception, more so the game itself? I wasn't gonna watch this thinking you were playing the game. Oh, no, 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 no. It's just a discussion. The game stream will be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Twitch. I do like the little extra bit of attention they put to episode Shadow here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and you can play along and watch if you want. I'm stuck on call. Oh, you know what? Multi, this is a perfect topic of discussion that I can actually talk and kind of rant about a bit. Okay, so for the longest time, because of what's been shown of Sonic Forces, a lot of Tails fans specifically have been, if you're a Tails fan, I've seen a lot of people go like, well, I'm not going to play the game because Tails is portrayed poorly in this game. Tails is a whiny little bitch. Tails is weak. He's useless. Listen. The only reason Tails acts like that in the beginning of Forces is because he witnesses Sonic get his ass beat by Infinite. Like, you gotta stop and, like, think about it from a point of view from where Tails is at. You know, has Tails really ever seen Sonic take such a beating like he did with Infinite? I don't think so. Not to mention that, you know, Tails was doing something. He was evacuating, you know, those citizens before Infinite did his thing. Not to mention that, you know, think about it, when Sonic does disappear, yeah, Tails isn't part of the resistance at first, but why do you think? It's because he was demoralized. Sonic was that morale for him, you know? Sonic leaves and suddenly Tails really just doesn't know what to do. You know, yeah, he can fight on his own. He is capable of doing stuff on his own, but Sonic was that drive that kept him going. Sonic goes and, you know, just gone. All that gone. You know, and you also got to think of it this way. Tails is the only one that actually goes and looks for Sonic. Nobody else really tries. They kind of just assume he's dead after that strike with Infinite. And they start doing stuff on their own. Tails is the only one to actually, you know, once Classic Sonic gets there, start looking for Sonic. That takes a lot of bravery, you know? Not to mention that once Sonic, you know, regular Sonic does get back in the fray, Tails becomes a lot more confident in himself. And why do you think that is? Because Sonic is back. You know, he has a lot more reliance on himself, knowing that, you know, if he messes up, at the very least we have Sonic. Because at the end of the day, you know, whether you want to age him up or not, Tails is still a child, you know? So, what people have been calling weak, cowardice, and all that other stuff, that's just how a child would act upon seeing his mentor, best friend, and father, and you know, brother figure get the shit kicked out of him, you know? He's my son. Wouldn't you be intimidated by someone that can take out the strongest? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Because I mean, think about it. As far as we know, we've never really witnessed Tails see any of that. And mind you, like I said, there is death in forces. Yep, that's pretty much it. The moment Tails realizes Sonic is gone, I have to go find him. Also, going to be switching the music out here. This is Infinite's boss theme from Forces. Let me see. There we go. Are we talking like, oh, no, worse than that, Ron Gamer. I'm talking about legit on-screen deaths of multiple characters. Yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty freaky too, because Infinite, I believe, is the only character we've ever had in the Sonic series to ever speak the way he does. Like, he legitimately says death and kill and all that other stuff, and it's kind of freaky. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna sit there and die like the rest? Stuff like that. That's the kind of shit that Infinite says in this game, and it's like, have we ever really heard a Sonic villain ever really say shit like that? No, more like laser, like full-on blast death, right? Because there's a point in the game, and this has actually been shown in the Forces teasers. There's a part where Infinite like charges up like a beam cannon or something on his hand and just blasts it towards a whole bunch of civilians. At the end of that scene, you see a whole bunch of civilian like Wisp-on blasters just drop to the ground. It's assumed that those guys died, and your avatar is the only one that survived from that because Infinite let him live. Well, no, this is still an E10 plus game, you can't really show wounds like that. But it's very, let me put it this way, it implies a lot of death, but it doesn't show much of it on the basis that it is a Sonic game. We can't go over the edge here, but we're gonna give you an idea of just what the hell's going on. Yeah, because plot armor, I feel like you're important to the story. I'll let you live for now. Actually, one other thing. I'm curious, actually. What connection... If you haven't watched any of the games, spoilers by the way, I have, but I'm still kind of curious about this. What connection do you guys see your custom hero having with Infinite? Because, no spoilers obviously, but throughout the story, Infinite makes it rather clear that he's met the custom hero before. Like very often he goes, I remember you from somewhere, or something like that, and it's like, do I know you? So, like, what connection do you guys think? You're a son? Dad, it's me. Long lost brother cliche. I'd say close friend or family. Close friend or family sounds pretty accurate, actually. I can actually see that kind of happening with, the story that they give Infinite. Clones again. Liquid! Darn you, Liquid. Metal Gear. No, but, I guess one last thing we should get to discuss in the last couple 10 minutes we have, level design. You know, considering that that's what's being shown at the moment on screen, level design. Do you guys think it's bad? Do you guys think it's okay? Passable maybe? Or do you guys just think that maybe Sonic Team should put more emphasis on the level design in later iterations of the following Sonic games? Ooh, Ron Gamer, actually, you do make a good point. But wait, was that the Phantom Ruby that Eggman was using in Mania, or was it a Phantom Ruby prototype? Because if it's the Phantom Ruby, then that would explain why Infinite knows us. Maybe the Phantom Ruby was him the entire time. It's the Ruby. Okay. Ah, I see. Honestly speaking, in terms of level design, for me, I don't mind as long as the game is fun. That's as simple as I can put it. I don't care really. As long as I'm having fun playing what I'm playing, and as long as the game makes it clear that, hey look, we just want you to have fun, you know? Not to mention that this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, somewhat new blood that's working with the level design for Forces. For the most part, a lot of the level designers that they got for Forces are newbies to the whole thing. They started out with, well, two of them started out with Lost World, and one of them is completely new to the whole level design scene. So that would definitely explain why the level design feels and looks the way it is. But honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, Sega is giving new people shots to do this, you know, and I can appreciate that. You know, Sega trying to get more people involved in the team. That's not a bad thing. As long as it's not all hand-holding like Generations. No, I can assure you, it's not. One complaint I do have, though, is that there's a lot of boost pads. And, mind you, you can always jump over them and whatnot, but, like, with Classic Sonic especially, I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary boost pads. Because there's a lot of instances where there's a boost pad right before a loop, and it's like, do you not trust me with the physics you gave me to get past this loop on my own? You know, it's kind of like that, but, it's something minor, I guess. I'll just have to get used to that. Yeah, Firestorm, completely new people. Three, actually. The level design team of Sonic Forces consists entirely of just 3 people. What is your favorite game that isn't related to Sonic and Sega? Oh, that's a tough one. I'd have to say probably just Xenoblade. Xenoblade on the Wii. And considering that this is a Forces stream, I'm not going to get into that because, you know, we only got like maybe 8 minutes left of discussion time. Yeah, it's kind of a detriment to the game, honestly, because it doesn't just do that with Classic Sonic, but it feels the most unnecessary with Classic Sonic, because it's like, with the Custom Hero, unless you're going real fast, which doesn't happen very often because the Custom Hero's speed is not meant to match Sonic's, which does make sense. Sonic is the fastest thing alive. You know, the only reason that the Custom Hero can catch up with him in the tag team levels is because, you know, he's like trying to keep up with Sonic. But for the most part, the Custom Hero doesn't run very fast in comparison to Sonic. You know, he can't boost, none of that air dash stuff. It's just, you know, him using his gadgets. So for him, putting boost pads and stuff like that feels okay, I guess. But with Classic Sonic, where you're used to running up and down loops and stuff like that regularly without the aid of any sort of health, boost pads, it feels kind of unnecessary, you know? Ooh, yeah, here's another thing. What difficulty will you guys be playing Sonic Forces in? There's normal mode, and then there's hard mode. The only difference really being that in hard mode, if you get hit, you can't collect your rings. You lose your rings for good if you get hit. Me personally, I'm going to be sticking with hard mode. Not going to lie, the no picking up rings when you get hit sounds like a very interesting challenge that will definitely up the ante in the difficulty of the game. Probably normal. Actually, Ron, that actually makes a lot of sense. You know, sticking behind Sonic to get some more speed. I could see that. I could see that actually happening. It's not bad. That's not a bad assumption. Honestly, though, I like the way they're depicting Eggman in Forces, though. It's definitely a mix of Sadie-M Robotnik and the Eggman we know and love today, because in Forces there are several lines of dialogue that Eggman says that are still pretty hilarious, but he just has that tone of voice, you know? He has that tone of voice that's a lot lower and a lot more sinister sounding, and I really do like it. It's very interesting. Oh, here's actually one last thing we can close off on. This was something that quite a number of people were definitely complaining about when Forces announced the custom character. Do you guys think that Sega should bring back multiple playable characters instead of sticking to just Sonic? Or do you think that in terms of story narrative, Sonic is the way to go for the next gen of games? Because there are quite a number of people that are just sick of Sonic only games, even though for the longest time back when, you know, Heroes was around in 06, people wanted to just play as Sonic. It's honestly something that I've been curious to know, because I have several friends who have, you know, completely decided to just not play the game because Tails isn't playable, because Knuckles isn't playable. Even though they play very important parts in the story, it's like, yeah, they're not playable, but that doesn't mean they're useless, you know? Multi, that much I would agree on. I don't... Actually, you know what? Maybe give Silver some more spotlight, too, because Forces actually does focus quite a bit on Silver, and I do like that they brought him back for this game. The reason as to why, though, we'll have to wait and see, because the Ian Flynn comic that they have up on the, you know, website isn't all that great, to be honest. It doesn't really explain much. Another game with Tails front and center would be nice. Yeah, Tails Adventure 2. Yep. Episodes. Well, they did confirm that there is more DLC on the way. It's not just Episode Shadow that we're getting, apparently. And also, apparently there's going to be also a day one patch when the game launches. I'm not sure if that's going to be immediately when the game launches, but apparently Supersonic is going to be added to this. Yeah, Zach, definitely so. Because, think about it, if it took 4 years to develop this game, that was just on the Hedgehog engine alone, maybe two or 3 years, maybe just 2. The rest of it spent developing the actual game. I could see them putting out Sonic games a little bit at a slightly faster pace now, you know? Shadow is really just a Sonic skin. Yeah, that's agreeable. He wasn't in the game before? What, Supersonic? No. No. Supersonic is not involved in the story at all. And actually, believe it or not, neither are the Chaos Emeralds. There is no mention of the Chaos Emeralds at all in Sonic Forces. Which I know we're going to extend our time here just a little bit, but I do feel that that's definitely something that the story could have done without. You know, for the longest time, bosses in 3D Sonic have been, you know, always supersonic and whatnot, always forcing it down your throat as the final boss. And for Forces to just ignore the Chaos Emeralds and Supersonic entirely up until now seems very interesting, and I'm curious to see how they do implement Supersonic in the gameplay. I'm going to assume that it's going to work off of the same logic that Supersonic has always worked off of, where collect 50 rings and jump to become Supersonic, but considering the level design and the way that the game is paced, I'm very curious to see what Supersonic plays like in this game. Not to mention that Zach here actually does have a point. He says that Sonic Team was taking in feedback from leakers and early buyers. Could this also potentially mean a physics update? Because one of the complaints that I see a lot with Forces is that the physics for a lot of the characters don't feel right. And while personally I don't agree a whole lot with that, maybe, you never know. Also, yes, Sonic Forces is now available for consoles, and this is actually where I'm going to end off the stream for today. If you like watching me talk about this sort of stuff and you want to see me play the game live tomorrow when it launches on PC, be sure to follow me on Twitch, or even join the Discord server if you want to keep up with more updates. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at RZ98 if you want to, stay updated with me. Anyways, thank you guys for chiming into the discussion stream of the Sonic Forces launch. I will see you guys tomorrow for the actual game, Sonic Forces, when I stream it tomorrow at 1 PM Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate all the fun discussions, topics that you guys brought up, and I will see you tomorrow on Twitch. Later.